Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on, guys? It's Filthy and I'm back with another video. Today we're doing a champion review on Graybeard. Should you 6-star him? Should you take him to 60? Now, this guy is 100% free to play friendly. You can farm him in the campaign, which is pretty good. So you get him from stage 4, which I think is the Durham Forest. Now he's one of 2 rares that you can pick up. You can get Spirit Host. She is fairly useful, she does have her uses, and also you can get Graybeard. Now, great that he's free to play. Unfortunately, it takes 15 copies of him to max him out with books, which is obviously a lot, so you best get used to doing that stage if you want to save on the books. Now, he is Skinwalker, he's rare, and he's defense based. Now, all of that sounds pretty good, and his kit actually is pretty nice. He can hold his own in level 20 dungeons, so we'll go through, we'll talk about his kit, masteries, artifacts, and then we'll show him off and go through it. So looking at his skills, his A1 exposed weakness, we attack one enemy, we have a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff. If you book this up, it goes to 70%. That's pretty good for a provoke debuff, and it synergizes really well with his kit. I don't know why, but this is based on attack, even though he's clearly a defense based champion, so Polarium need to fix that. It's pretty stupid that that works on attack, but it is what it is. His A2 is really useful. When you book it out, it comes to a 3-turn cooldown, and it also has a 40% chance of placing a freeze debuff. Freeze is amazing, it's an AoE, so if you're attacking 5 enemies, you can expect to freeze a couple of them on average. 3-turn cooldown, you know, it comes back fairly quickly. It would be nice if it was 2 turns, but obviously he is just a rare, he's free to play, so it is pretty nice. His A3, this is on a 4-turn cooldown. Once you book it up, it will place a shield on him for 2 turns and also place a counter-attack debuff for 2 turns. Now the shield is proportional to his defense. It's not massive, but obviously any extra shield that you get on him is pretty nice. Now, when he does have his counter-attack on, that means that anyone who hits him with any AoE, he's going to come back, he's going to do his A1, he's got that high chance of getting his provoke off, so he's really crowd control expert. His A2 is going to freeze, 40% chance, he can have his counter-attack up probably about half to 2/3 of the time, depending on how quick you are, depending on whether you've got a speed booster, turn meter booster, that kind of thing, and then he can lock somebody down even further with his A1. Now, amazingly, he's got an increased all allied defense aura by 30% in dungeons, so it doesn't work in campaign, it doesn't work in the arena, and it doesn't work in clan boss, but 30% is huge. If you look at Apothecary, he's got 21%, and I'm fortunate enough to have Ignatius, and his is 25%. Now fine, all battles rather than dungeons, but considering this guy is free to play, this aura is pretty good. You know, most champions are going to have like 1000 defense, so it's an extra 300 plus defense, which is pretty good. So if we look at his base stats, HP is pretty good, just under 15k. Attack is about 1000. That benefits his A1. It's not massively high. Defense is over 1000, so that's quite good. Speed is a little on the slow side at 92, and then crit rate, damage, resist, accuracy, all as kind of standard. Now, looking at his masteries, what we've done is to get some damage out of him, we're going to go down the offense tree. So we're going to select Deadly Precision for more crit rate in layer 1. We're going to go for Keen Strike in layer 2 for more crit damage. Layer 3 we're going to go for Singled Out just to give more damage against 40% or less HP enemies. This is really kind of for dungeon bosses. We're then going to go down into Bring It Down. More damage when attacking higher HP enemies. Again, this is probably more for the dungeon boss. Then we've got Methodical, so we increase his A1 damage up to 10%. That synergizes quite well with his counter-attack kit, because obviously he hits with his A1 when it counters, so this does stack up pretty quickly. I've also picked Killstreak in this tier, just because I can't think of anything else to do, so extra 3% damage for champions killed by him, stacking up to 12. He's probably not going to get the final blow, but if he does, then fine, it's a little bit of extra damage. And then War Master is going to be the main way of doing his damage, so he's going to activate this max HP bonus and do a pretty big hit. Now in the defense tree, it would be tempting to go for Fearsome Presence and increase that provoke and also freeze debuff, but we're at pretty high chance anyway, so the provoke's at 70%, so we're only going to provoke a little more often to 75%. It's only like, it's under 10% increase in terms of relative increase, so to go from 70% to 75. And then the same for the freeze, I just don't think it's worth it. And you'd also have to drop War Master, so with that said, we're going to go for the support tree, so we're going to go for extra accuracy from tier 1. We're then going to take shield bearer, give that shield an extra 5% because he auto casts it on himself, so pretty handy. Next one's probably fairly debatable, Exalting Death, 10% extra HP, so a heal essentially when someone dies. We're going to use him only in dungeons, so there will be people dying left, right and centre, so it's just a little heal for him. To be honest, charge focus for more accuracy would be absolutely fine, either one of them is okay. From tier 3, rapid response, we're going to get 30% chance of increasing turn meter by 10% when a buff cast by him is removed or expired. Obviously he does counter attack and shield, so we've got 2 buffs for a chance. Arcane Celerity, we again more chance of gaining turn meter when a debuff is removed, so he obviously does his freeze and he does provoke, so again a little bit of turn meter gain. Helps with his slow speed, to be honest. Next tier down, Cycle of Magic, 5% chance of putting a random cooldown and reducing it by 1. That means more access to his AoE freeze, more access to his shield and counter attack. Goes off about once in 20 times, so just helps out speed him up a little bit. And then I've gone for Lure of Steel just to get even more value out of his gear. Again, his base speed is very low, so this will help with that. But Evil Eye would have been okay just to get a bit of turn meter reduction on him. And finally, Lasting Gifts, a 30% chance to extend the duration of a buff cast by him by 1 turn, so you could get a 3-turn counterattack on him, or the 3-turn shield. Again, there's nothing really, you don't really want Spirit Haste, you don't want him to be the last person alive. Sniper doesn't work with freeze or provoke, and neither does Master Hexer, so pretty much that's how I've got him built, and yeah, as I say, there's a couple of changes that you can do. Now looking at his artifacts, what I'd say is for his banner, you definitely want accuracy. You're looking to get his debuff accuracy above 200 if you're going to do level 20 content. Obviously if you're doing lower down stuff then you don't need quite as much. Substats, speed, defense percent, HP percent would be fine, probably in that kind of order. Attack percent is okay because it does benefit his A1. For his amulet, crit damage or flat defense would probably be my pick. You probably want a double roll of accuracy if you can get it, just so that you don't have to get accuracy elsewhere. Ring, flat defense is probably going to be your best bet. Substats, defense percent would be pick number 1, then HP percent and attack percent. For his boots, you definitely want speed. Again, defense percent, HP percent would be nice. Crit damage, crit rate, anything that's going to add some damage to him. Attack percent's okay, as we say, does benefit his A1. I've got him in an HP chest. I would prefer defense percent. Again, you'd be looking for crit rate, crit damage, defense percent, speed. Just make him quicker, make him do more damage. And gloves, again, I've got defense percent, but crit rate would be okay, crit damage would be okay, just if you can kind of pump his damage up basically. For the shield, accuracy, speed, defense percent, HP percent. Exactly the same on the helm, speed, defense percent, crit rate, crit damage, all those types of things. And then for the weapon, you pretty much want accuracy and speed. Attack percent is okay, but obviously we can't roll any kind of defensive stuff on there. Now in terms of the sets, because my Great Hall is rubbish, because I'm trying to get Arbiter, so it's not as well worked on as it should be, I'm just pumping everything into one section at the moment. Really, I'd look to dump this accuracy set, and I'd say you probably want either 6 pieces of speed or 2 pieces of speed and maybe 4 defense, something like that. Probably 4 speed, 2 defense would be the ideal. But again, pump up his defense, pumps up his shield, pumps up his damage, and get him going quicker. Now, mine isn't terribly well geared, 30k HP thereabouts, just under 2000 attack, 2.5k defense, speed pretty slow, 146. I would like him to have the extra speed, but just trying to get his accuracy up is difficult. Accuracy at 220, crit rate at 50%, crit damage at just under 100. So, when I've got my Great Hall better, once I've geared him out a little better, I'd hope that he probably would be nearer to 3k defense and basically faster and with more damage. But as you'll see, he holds his own, so, that's okay. Now what I think we'll do is we'll take him in Ice Golem. Now I've run him through Minotaur to obviously do his Masteries, he's fine there. Ice Golem, he's got the strong affinity, so he's fine. I've done Spiders 20 with him, again absolutely fine, he's the strong affinity. I've done Dragon 20 with him, again neutral affinity, so fine. I haven't tried Fire Knight because he is the weak affinity and I do think he probably would get slammed. But for any of the other stages, trying to get your way through up, like 18, 19 would be fine, so you can take him there. It's just he's not going to, at 20 he's going to need a lot of support. But we'll jump in, we'll do an Ice Golem. So we're going to put him in the lead just to demonstrate that he does have this defensive aura. Obviously I've got some decent endgame characters, so I probably wouldn't put him in here normally. I'd be looking to make something quicker, but this is just a good example how his kit works and can he handle himself in a basically 20 scenario. Now his AoE freeze is pretty nice, and he's got I think 1 there, so it's normally 1 or 2. Sometimes you get lucky and it can be 3. I would be interested to see how 2 copies of him function, because that double chance at the freeze I think would be pretty nice. But I've got Masteries, he's doing a true fierce, that's like a pretty good crowd control. So him mixed with Graybeard is doing a pretty good job of locking the enemy waves down, and then the rest of the team is just there for kind of just general support really. So attack down, defense down from Stag Knight, shields from Warlord, debuff extension, turn meter reduction, and then Reliquary Tender is there to pick anybody off the floor who dies. Now the 30% aura that Graybeard gives is just brilliant for a free rare. It's incredible, it just makes everybody so much tougher. You could probably afford to take out Reliquary Tender here and you probably would just about be okay, because the Ice Golem slams obviously hit pretty hard. The extra defense on the aura is pretty good, and it will mean that we hopefully don't die. As I said, I've run him through a few times and it has been pretty fine. But the AoE freeze is nice, the counter attack with the provoke is nice, it just locks people down and it is a pretty good kit. Would be interesting if I could get maybe 2 or 3 copies of him, maybe War Maiden, maybe you could build a Dragon 20 team with him. Again, it would be interesting to see maybe on Fire Knight if you could get the free to play champ with the multi-hit on the A1 and reflect damage, and again more copies of Graybeard. But realistically we're looking to get the freeze off on the minions for this, maybe get them provoked, and as I say, the aura is just generally helpful and we shouldn't really have too much bother. So he's obviously not the star of this show, but it is quite good, it's quite interesting. I think that this kind of free to play champ is absolutely fine in essentially end game content. So should you 6-star him, should you build him? I think if you're early to the game, if you don't have too many good champions, he's got a really useful kit. I'm going to build a second one because I think there are some fun combos that we could probably do. And obviously his counter attack is very useful for Fire Knight. Again, if you're early game Fire Knight, he's quite a good character to take, because when he gets hit, the counter attack will proc. He'll then take the shield down for you. His counter attack here is pretty useful. He just gets off extra hits on the Ice Golem. All you've got to make sure is obviously he doesn't get frozen, which is a bit pot luck. But if he doesn't get frozen, then he'll do a counter attack. If the Ice Golem does that AoE decreased accuracy attack, again he'll counter if he's got it up. So again, it will proc for 30 or 3 turns sometimes, so 30% chance. So pretty good. So he'll come in, do a counter attack, just speeds it up a little bit. Just quite a good champ actually. Pretty, built him. I've got some nice champions. It is just quite good that he can do this. Now obviously it's not the fastest time in the world. Normally speaking you'd be looking for max HP champs in here. So again, maybe there's something you could do with a couple of Graybeards and a couple of Armigers. Maybe that could be an interesting speed team. And with the game going of the way of rare only tournaments, this guy is pretty good. Maybe he is a little bit slapped on. Obviously he didn't get his counter attack off there because he was frozen, but obviously that's just the RNG of it. So yeah, as I say, he's a pretty good champ and it looks like we're going to win. So I'll probably cut this now, come back at the end, and then we'll jump into the next little section of the review. So there we go guys, the Ice Golem has been defeated. Obviously not particularly quick, you could speed that composition up a lot, but I just wanted to kind of show you that he can do it. Now let's go and rate him, because I can show you Dragon again. It's very similar sort of thing, he just does that kind of lockdown with his kit, but probably better if I just rate him. Now campaign, because his aura doesn't work, I think he's probably fairly average. You wouldn't want to use him as a campaign farmer, he'd be pretty slow, so I'd give him 3. If you're early game, he could be somebody to build, so if you're absolutely brand new, he probably would be okay. Arena offense, again, his kit is all about control, his aura doesn't benefit here, but the AoE freeze is quite nice, the provoke is quite nice, so again, I'd say maybe if you're early game, use him, but once you get into mid game, you're definitely not going to do him for arena. Spiders, I think he's actually quite good. The defensive aura really helps out your off affinity tank. the 40% chance to freeze will normally take quite a few of the spiderlings out, so I'd say he's actually pretty good for spider. You stick him at the front, he'll do the freezes, pretty nice. Arena defense again, realistically it's only for super early game. Dragons, again, defense aura is pretty good, wave control is pretty nice. He's pretty useless against the actual dragon. Obviously you could put a poison set on him maybe to get his poison debuff, but he's going to basically help your poisoner get there, so he's probably 4 for me. Ice Golem, which has seen him, again, pretty useful. Not top tier, he's not going to be mega speed, but he will provide a lot of control, and obviously he is the strong affinity. Fire Knight, again, I think for anything other than 20, so other than force affinity, he's pretty good. Self counter attack is pretty nice, that'll get the shield down, but we'll give him 3 just because the level 20 probably would be a bit difficult. But as I say, maybe there's something we can do with multiple copies of him. Minotaur, again, fine, he's going to control the waves for you. I'd say probably 4 because once you get into mid game you're going to want to replace him. Clan Boss, I wouldn't say he's very good for Clan Boss. His aura doesn't work. Fine, he's got counter attack, sorry, on his kit. I probably wouldn't be using him in Clan Boss at all. Void Keep, again, fine. He's like a really good starting champion who's going to help you get through various bits, and you can still keep him, as we say, up until level 20. So force affinity, obviously he's going to be weak there, but even still, you've still got the wave control, and weak hits are about 70% or 30% chance, so he's pretty good. Again, Spirit Keep, he's fine for an early game. And then Faction Wars, probably going to be pretty good for Faction Wars because he's got such control, so he's going to be pretty good to build. And again, you could build multiple copies of him because he's completely free to play. So all in all, guys, my view on him is, should you 6-star him, should you build him to 60? That obviously is a question depending on your account level. If you're just starting out, absolutely, definitely 100% build this guy. He's got a good kit, he can handle level 20 dungeons, which is pretty nice. And not with crazy gear either, we showed the gear, it's not crazy. So yeah, he's actually pretty good, so I think it's a bit of a shame he's not got many reviews, seems to be a bit slept on. I'm going to build another couple of copies of him, see if there's some crazy stuff we can do, but all in all, guys, I'm pretty impressed with him. I've got some okay champs so far since I've been playing the game, and he's perfectly usable and perfectly fine. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated, and I'll see you again for some more mobile gaming very soon. Take it easy. Peace.